Wake up. Your attention is the most valuable, most finite resource you possess, and it is under constant, coordinated attack. The war for your potential is fought on the battlefield of your focus. Every notification, every endless scroll, every low-effort interruption is an economic transaction where they profit and you pay with your future. Your distraction is their weapon. If you cannot command your own mind, you are a soldier in someone else's army. This is not about time management. This is about self-ownership. Today, you will learn the silent discipline of the unbreakable few. This is the truth about extreme focus. This is the Zenith Voice. Chapter 1. The Battlefield of Attention. Who owns your mind? Stop lying to yourself. Distraction is not a bad habit. It is not an accident. Distraction is a deliberate act of outsourcing your will. It is a decision to let someone else dictate your priorities. You have a choice. You can own your mind, or you can rent it out cheaply to the highest bidder. This is the shocking cost of compliance. When the notification chimes, when the email lands, when the phone buzzes, that is not a neutral event. That is a corporate command. That is an interruption that serves their goal, not yours. Your compliance is their profit. Your fractured attention is their revenue. Understand the math of the cost. The financial press calls it context switching. Every time you break deep work to check a notification, your mind does not instantly return to the high-value task. It takes, on average, 23 minutes to fully re-engage with complex thought. 23 minutes! If your core focus task is worth $500 an hour, that single interruption just cost you approximately $190 in lost cognitive momentum. But the actual cost is higher. If you take 20 interruptions in a day, which is a low estimate for most people, you have lost an entire workday to mental resetting. The true loss is the missed opportunity. It is the brilliant idea that never formed, the crucial decision that was delayed, the promotion that never materialized. That is the $10,000 cost of a single interruption, multiplied over a year of mental bleed. You are a battery they plug into. You have a choice. Do you remain a source of energy for external demands, or do you reclaim that power for your own mission? The myth of multitasking is a lie. Let us bury this pathetic excuse right here. Multitasking is not a skill. It is evidence of low-level mental management. The human brain cannot focus on two high-value tasks simultaneously. What you call multitasking is simply rapid, frantic switching. You are not doing two things well. You are doing two things poorly and exhausting your prefrontal cortex in the process. It is not about managing your time. It's about managing your focus. That's the key. You must categorize your work into two brutal, honest modes. First, deep work. This is high-value, high-impact, focused output. This is creation, strategy, analysis. It demands total commitment. For the unbreakable few, this work is scheduled in uninterrupted blocks of 4 hours minimum. You don't need their permission to take 4 hours. You take it. Second, shallow work. This is administrative overhead, answering basic emails, scheduling, organizing files. Necessary but low value. Batch this work. Dedicate 1 hour a day to it and do not let it bleed into the high-value hours. Your real-world instruction for the next 72 hours is simple and painful. Record every switch. Keep a tally sheet. Every time you move from deep work to shallow work, make a mark. See the truth of how often you sabotage your own momentum. This record will force accountability. The focus audit. Identify your enemy. Your phone is not the enemy. Your laptop is not the enemy. The true enemy is the permission you give these devices to interrupt your purpose. It is time for a brutal focus audit. This is not about being polite. It is about self-preservation. You must eliminate the permission. Your phone's default setting is a trap. It is calibrated to make you reactive, not proactive. Every notification is a digital leash. The solution is immediate aggressive triage. Go to your settings right now. You must identify every single application that sends you a push notification. Now, eliminate 80% of them aggressively. You don't need a ding for a like. You don't need a badge for a discount. You need silence to think. The only notifications you are permitted to keep are those that are truly life or death essential. And trust me, very few qualify. You don't need their permission to silence their noise. You don't need their permission to be productive. This immediate action forces a core mental shift. It signals to your brain, I am in command here. Eliminate the permission. You are building a mental fortress. The first step is closing the gates to the outside world. You have been paying the tax of distraction long enough. You must reclaim your mind, or you will forever remain a tool in someone else's workshop. This ownership of your mind is the first step toward the true quiet discipline required for ultimate success. The next step is institutionalizing that silence. We must turn avoidance into action. In Chapter 2, we will explore Silence is the Secret Weapon of High Performers.
Chapter 2. Silence is the secret weapon of high performers. Your greatest advantage is not speed. It is not talent. Your greatest advantage is silence. Silence is the secret weapon of high performers. It is the tactical edge you gain when everyone else is drowning in their own noise. Most people believe their schedule must be packed with doing. They confuse busyness with productivity. They fill every slot, every minute with shallow work and low-value activity. They are proud of their full calendars. They should be ashamed. The truly valuable schedule is packed with being focused. This requires the discipline of the empty schedule. You must block out time that looks empty to the outside world, but which is, in reality, your most valuable asset. Introduce the concept of focus reserves. This is time explicitly blocked out with zero agenda. It is saved only for when deep work is necessary. You are a strategic asset. You would not fire all your ammunition at the first sign of trouble. You reserve your firepower. Your focus is your ammunition. You have a choice. You can let others fill your calendar with their emergencies, or you can guard your focus reserves. That's the key. It's not about finding time. It's about making a stand for it. It's not about being busy. It's about being effective. The vow of non-reaction. Mental toughness is not about lifting heavy weights. It is about the ability to do nothing when your instincts scream at you to react. This is the essential mental toughness skill, the vow of non-reaction. Observe the email. Observe the criticism. Observe the perceived emergency text. Your body triggers a dopamine response, an urge to reply, to defend, to engage immediately. That urge is a weakness. It is a control mechanism others use against you. You must build a wall between the trigger and the response. The response must be delayed by a minimum of 60 minutes. This interval is your power. It is where sanity replaces panic. It is where strategic thought replaces emotional flailing. When you react immediately, you are operating from a place of survival. When you delay, you operate from a place of strategy. You don't need their permission to ignore their urgency. Their urgency is almost never your emergency. Your real-world instruction is absolute. Institute the 60-minute rule for all digital communication. Nothing, not texts, not emails, not professional messages, gets an immediate reply. Let the notifications sit. Let the dust settle. If the world has not ended in 60 minutes, you can respond with measured intelligence. If you cannot do this, you do not own yourself. It's not about being rude. It's about being disciplined. Creating the sanctuary, the environment protocol. Your mind is a reflection of your physical space. A cluttered desk equals a cluttered mind. You cannot expect deep work in a distracting environment. Your physical space must be brutally minimalistic. It must be free of visual noise. Anything that does not directly serve your current task must be removed. This includes photographs, non-essential books, personal trinkets, and especially that deactivated phone within sight. Put it away. You are providing immediate physical instructions for optimizing your workspace. Your desk is a tool. It is a surface dedicated solely to the deep work task at hand. Your workspace is a command center, not a museum. If you are working on a complex report, the only items permitted on the desk are the computer, the necessary input materials, and a single drink. That's it. It's not about interior design. It's about focus architecture. The environment must signal to your subconscious that this space is for one thing only: execution. Every external cue is either a support structure or a distraction. Remove the supports and remove the distractions. Create a blank slate for your mind to execute. You have a choice to remove the noise. You have the choice to enforce the silence. This quiet discipline is the foundation of self-reliance. When you control your environment, you control your focus. When you control your focus, you control your output. You have learned to guard your focus reserves and to control your reaction. Now we must turn that control into a predictable, relentless engine of success. We must break the addiction loop that constantly pulls you back to compliance. In Chapter 3, we will detail the 48-hour protocol, breaking the addiction loop.
Chapter 3, the 48-hour protocol, breaking the addiction loop. You have identified the enemy. You have guarded the silence. Now we move from defense to offense. You cannot slowly wean yourself off addiction. You must cut the cord. Your focus problem is not a willpower problem. It is a physiological problem. Your brain's reward pathways have been hijacked by constant, unpredictable novelty. They demand a quick hit of dopamine every few minutes. This means you need a shock to the system. You need to reset the clock. This is the 48-hour protocol. It is non-negotiable. It is mandatory. The digital fast, forced focus. For the next 48 hours, you will enforce a complete elimination of one major source of distraction. Choose your primary digital addiction: social media, all non-essential news feeds, or video streaming. Shut it down completely. Delete the app, block the website, make it physically impossible to access. This is not a suggestion. This is not a partial reduction. This is a digital fast. You must feel the withdrawal. You must feel the anxiety of the missing novelty. That discomfort is proof that the habit holds power over you. The goal is to endure that feeling until the craving subsides and the brain realizes the reward is no longer coming. You have a choice. You can feed the addiction or you can feed your future. You must starve the habit. You don't need their permission to ignore their platforms for 2 days. This is the price of regaining self-control. It's not about being deprived. It's about being liberated. The discipline here is pure endurance. Hold the line for 48 hours, and you will prove to your own brain that you are in charge, not the algorithms. The power of the single non-negotiable task, SNT. The primary outcome of distraction is debilitating confusion. When you have 100 possible tasks, you choose 0. You bounce between them, achieving nothing of consequence. We eliminate confusion with ruthless clarity. Introduce the single non-negotiable task, SNT. This is the principle of selecting only one task per day that, if completed, makes the entire day a success. Only one. If everything else collapses, if the emails stack up, if the meetings run late, but you complete the SNT, the day is a victory. That's the key. Focus on the one needle mover. The SNT must be identified the night before. This eliminates the morning mental drag.
You decide when your brain is rested and clear, not when it is flooded with the day's first wave of noise. Your real-world instruction is simple. Before you sleep tonight, write the SNT for tomorrow on a physical index card, not in an app. On a card. Place it next to your alarm. When you wake, that card is your marching order. Only that task matters. This SNT is your primary focus reserve for the day. You don't need their permission to prioritize your mission. It's not about doing everything. It's about executing the main thing. The repetitive rituals of quiet success. Focus is a state of mind that must be actively triggered. You cannot rely on motivation or inspiration. You must rely on ritual. Success is found in the consistency of the routine, not the excitement of the task. You must establish repetitive, almost boring rituals that precede focus. These are mental preparation sequences that signal to your brain the time for play is over. It is time to execute. This could be making coffee, clearing the desk until it is spotless, 10 minutes of absolute silence and deep breathing, or putting on specific focus music. The content of the ritual is less important than the consistency of its execution. These rituals reduce friction. They eliminate the agonizing startup process that kills momentum. When the ritual is complete, the focus begins automatically. The ritual is the rudder. It guides you through the waves of daily chaos directly back to the execution of your SNT. You have a choice, a life governed by random impulse, or a life structured by intentional ritual. Choose the latter. You are not fighting to simply avoid distraction. You are fighting to build an unstoppable daily engine of performance. By starving the habit and installing the SNT and the ritual, you have forged the structure. Now, you must make it permanent. In Chapter 4, we will define the final measure of self-reliance, self-ownership, the final defense against noise.
Chapter 4. Self-ownership, the final defense against noise. You have cleared the field. You have established the rituals. You have endured the digital fast. You have proven you can command your mind. But the battle is never truly over. The world will constantly test your boundaries. The final, essential phase of focus mastery is self-ownership. It is the declaration that you, and only you, are responsible for your attention, your process, and your result. This is the final defense against the noise. The fear of missing out is the fear of commitment. Let's confront the most insidious social anxiety that fuels distraction. FOMO, the fear of missing out. FOMO is a sophisticated psychological weapon used to keep you consuming, not creating. It is not the fear of missing an event. It is the fundamental refusal to commit fully to your own current path and purpose. When you compulsively check updates, you are subconsciously signaling that the work you are currently doing is less interesting, less valuable than the random, unfiltered lives of strangers. You are hedging your bets. You are saying, maybe there's an easier, quicker, more exciting path right here. This is weakness disguised as curiosity. High achievers do not hedge their bets. They commit. They tunnel vision. They understand that every moment spent comparing is a moment stolen from building. You have a choice. You can follow the crowd's echoes, or you can forge your own path. Choose your path. Ignore the echoes. You do not need their permission to ignore the news cycle. You do not need their permission to miss the trends. It's not about being socially current. It's about being historically significant. Your success will be built in the silent hours where no one is watching. Defend that time ruthlessly. The accountability wall, your personal standard. The world loves to give you vague, comfortable benchmarks. We reject comfort. We demand clarity. You must stop letting external metrics define your value. You must define your own accountability wall. This is your personal standard for extreme focus, and only you are the judge. You must define exactly what extreme focus means for you. It must be a measurable, non-negotiable metric. This is the integration of the lessons learned. Your standard might be, I will complete 3 single non-negotiable tasks before noon this week, or I will achieve 4 hours of uninterrupted deep work daily non-negotiable. This standard is your non-negotiable floor. If you meet the standard, you win. If you fall short, you immediately initiate the correction. No excuses, no compromises. You don't need their permission to hold yourself to a higher standard than they hold themselves. Your real-world instruction. Create a physical, visible scorecard. Do not track your busy time. That's vanity. Track your deep work time and the completion of your SNTs. Hang this accountability wall where you see it first thing in the morning. This tangible score eliminates the ability to lie to yourself about your effort. It's not about effort, it's about execution. The unbreakable few. We have reached the end of the strategy, but the beginning of your action. The ultimate lesson is this. Mental toughness is not about resisting temptation. It is about building a life structure so robust that temptation cannot reach you. The unbreakable few are those who have mastered this. They understand that their attention is capital, and they invest it exclusively in their vision. They are quiet because their focus is total. They are self-reliant because they control their mind's inputs and outputs. Your focus is your future. Defend it. This is not a mindset. This is a manual for warfare against distraction. You have the tools, you have the structure, you have the standard. Now you must execute. You have a choice, and that choice defines your destiny. Will you be driven by the noise, or will you command the silence? The battle for your attention is the battle for your life. Win it.
You have been given the weapons. Now you must fight the war. Your distraction is their weapon. Do not mistake this truth for clever philosophy. It is a direct operational command. If you walk away from this audio and instantly return to the notifications, the endless scrolling, the low-effort interruptions, you have proven the thesis correct. You are a subject, not a sovereign. The time for excuses is over. You do not lack motivation, you lack discipline. You do not lack skill, you lack focus. The unbreakable few, the quiet winners, the people who build kingdoms while others post about them, they understand this single truth. What you pay attention to becomes your reality. Your life is waiting for you at the end of your focus. Stand up, cut the noise, defend your mind. Act now. If this essential wisdom has shifted your battlefield, you must commit to the relentless pursuit of mastery. Visit and subscribe to the Zenith Voice for more commanding wisdom that transforms philosophy into action. We deliver the truth. We demand your focus. We expect your victory. Do not click away. Begin your 48-hour protocol immediately.